Hi, so today I'm going to revisit a topic I've talked about before, that's strabismus, and I'm going to talk about something which seems to be helping me a little bit. Okay, so for me, this strabismus is an outward turn in the left eye. Yeah, you can't actually see it properly, but I can certainly feel it, and it can certainly be measured as a squint at the optician. And this happens basically whenever the eye has to look at anything. So basically this eye doesn't want to look at anything, and even though I've got really strong glasses on, when things come into focus, that is, this eye actually starts lining up and going into the correct position, and then for a split second I see very clearly, and then the eye pulls outwards, and it's frustrating obviously and a bit uncomfortable. If I have weaker glasses, maybe I can see better for a bit, but I have much more discomfort in this eye. So I have plus 4.5 glasses. A lot of the time things are blurry, but then occasionally the eye relaxes, it's about to go into position, I just see for a split second, and then the eye pulls out. If the eye doesn't pull out, well, it does actually, but it's a reflex. There really is nothing I can do about it. My jaw will tense up, I'll turn away, my whole body will tense up, this side. So I've really had no control over it. Now this is probably something I've always had, because as a small child I used to be like this when looking at things, or I used to kind of cock my eye up, so that difference has always been there. And when I started going to the opticians, they looked at it as a binocular problem, and that's when I got prescribed eye exercises, the pencil push-ups, which were really harmful because I wasn't given the correct glasses anyway, and it was treated like a convergence problem, and the convergence problem was happening because, hello, I have hyperopia. That wasn't being treated. And when this happens, it is seen as a convergence problem. The eye is moving outwards to maintain binocular vision, to avoid double vision. I do get a bit of double vision, but it's always felt like, well, that's not really the problem. And I did think it was binocular vision for quite a while, but then I tried covering covering the other eye with one hand, and it was still happening. The eye was still moving away. So obviously it didn't want to look at things, whether monocular vision or binocular vision. This eye just didn't want to look at things. So I had a little think about, well, why might that be? And it's always felt like this eye wants to stretch out vision-wise, but something is stopping it. So we're coming to the first diagram here, and so this is the left eye. It always feels like I'm looking at things in this sort of way. So there's a point I might look at, and there's kind of the line across. So my right eye, which has manifest long-sightedness, that looks a bit beyond the target. My left eye, what it seems to be doing is moving outwards and actually looking a little bit before the target. So if I try and hold that, I hope you can see that diagram okay. So why might it be doing that? So here is, I'm trying to think which way up. Let's put it that way up, because that's the front of the eye. Okay, now I've drawn the eye as an oval when it should actually be round, but I've done that because a long-sighted eye is a bit flatter than it's a bit flatter, so I've exaggerated that a little bit. But say you have the eye focusing comfortably where it should be, that's the line of focus. Alright, the eye would turn and go that way, obviously to converge with the other eye, but that is such a small difference for everyday viewing. But what's happening is the eye is moving outwards, so like maybe like that. Where have I drawn the arrow? Oh, it's moving outwards like that actually. So as you can see, what this does is it changes the axial length. So it's making the eye a bit longer back to front. And that's when the eye becomes short-sighted, the eye becomes longer, so that it has a longer length that way to focus on near objects. If it's sort of shorter, then the point of focus will just shoot straight past it, the back of the retina there. So that does seem to be what is going on. So on a hunch, basically, the first thing I thought was, should I try putting my glasses up even higher? As ridiculous as that sounds, but I gave it a try anyway. This is a 1.5, so obviously you've got to try and get the two centres matching up. These are prescription, so obviously the pupillary distance is where it should be. So as a rule, that would be for me, because mine is quite narrow, this would come in a bit more. So okay, I've got blue tack here, but I just tried holding it up to see what happened, and two things happened. I actually saw better, and that was the other weird thing. Plus glasses are supposed to be magnifiers. This seemed to make things actually smaller. So a little weirdness. The other thing that happened was the eye started moving around more naturally, so coming towards the centre and kind of like stretching out. So it was like putting this on it gave the eye leg room to for the focus to move outwards like it should be. I also found physically I was much more comfortable because I wasn't compelled to turn, and obviously it stabilised the movement of this eye, so it stopped pulling away. So I'd sort of have a spare one with me, so I could just, if I felt the eye twitching, I could just put it against the glasses. And the other thing I did was to actually, now I've been used to looking at stuff a bit before the object with this eye, so I've been trying to mentally, with these on, because obviously it's pulling away for a reason, so with these on I've just been trying to mentally get into the mindset of looking, say, about 4 inches past the object with this eye. And yesterday I found that I was getting quite stable vision outdoors, and I was reading all the street signs, no problem. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But then, yesterday evening, this eye, the muscles have gone a bit tight, obviously because this eye is suddenly moving differently. I'm posturing differently. I mean, I was able to stretch out in bed, like normally I'm just sort of like this all the time, but I noticed I'm standing better, I'm posturing better. Obviously I got more energy in the day because of that. But last night what happened was this eye seized up a little bit. Now I don't see that as a problem because this eye has changed and started to align better. This eye obviously has to move with it, so it's going to be a little bit of a change either way. Now, okay, so as I said before, I'm revisiting this topic. Possibly some of the other things that I've said before may contradict what I'm saying now. I don't see a big problem with that because everything that I've put up might be helpful to somebody who's, experiencing the same thing. And I might find this isn't, you never know how something's going to work, because I've had glasses that were the best thing since sliced bread for 2 weeks, and then I was back to square one. So this might work really, really well and then stop working. But it does feel like it's actually on the right track. But anyway, what I'll probably do is see how I go with this and post up a video of how well it's worked or not. Okay, so that's my video for today. Bye bye.